Welcome back to the Mail-In Podcast. Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm your host, Brett Merriman. We are back to full strength in the Mail-In studio, the Washed Media studio. Everybody knows Randy. He's here.
Hi.
But to my right, she's back in action. She's a knockout, and she'll knock you out. That's Sally deFries.
I can't. This arm is like. I'm sorry, Randy. It probably sounds bad, but I'm messing with the. I can't look at you.
I know. We do
turn
need.
Like this.
I agree. There's something about these arms that it just every week I end up.
How's
I just
the
try to look
camera
through
angle
it.
on me, Randy? Now that I've totally turned my chair,
Good.
did I ruin it?
Was that a problem before?
Yeah,
I
I mean it's always been.
I don't feel like it's been this bad before.
I have a strange suspicion that someone
moved
moved the mic back a little bit because it was really bad when I was in yours.
It used to not be this. I feel like you always had it, but now both of ours. I'm so sorry. I keep moving it around. I hope I'm not messing with the sound. Both of ours are like in the direct sight.
Someone moved that mic
constantly.
for sure.
I have just looked through this one and
It's
kind of tried to
probably
ignore
Dylan.
it.
I'm gonna blame it on him.
Yeah.
That is his seat.
I am going to also say this. I
Mm-hmm.
do have a zit on the left side of my face, so this is actually a better angle for me. It's like the camera
Okay.
can only see
Only
this
picking up the
side.
good side.
But you unfortunately have to stare at it unless the microphone's covering it.
I can't even
so.
see it.
Great.
Wouldn't have
Lovely.
even noticed it. Did you like my she'll knock you out and she is a knockout? Get it? Because it's like a anesthetist thing.
Oh, I was like thinking more of a boxing thing.
Oh.
I was like, I don't even box.
Did you ever get into like the kickboxing?
No, not really.
Yeah. I know that was a pop. That hit like the women's, I feel like, workout sort
Craze
of
for a little bit.
craze. There was like a kickboxing thing, then it was Pilates, then it was,
You know, I think that was a Gen X thing
yeah,
more than a
Get it.
millennial thing.
I did it. It's just, hey, move your body. We ran into a Zumba class in Chicago. Had never witnessed one of those live. Don't think I would participate. I'm not much of a Zumba-er.
I've never
myself.
Zumba'd before. I don't
Randy
know.
was into it.
I think people Zumba'd in college
Really?
before we had like spin studios and stuff.
Spin, Pilates, obviously is very popular. If anything, I'm on the hot yoga wagon. Have been, will be. Love it. Feels great. Sweat my ass off. It's awesome.
I hate it because I hate sweating. But I just also don't work out right now. So
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
And by do, I did one singular Peloton in the past like month.
Really? Back on the wagon. Will
Well-
got into it for a while.
I know. It's been collecting dust for years.
Okay.
But I was like, okay, I'm going to get on it. I got on, I think right before we went to Chicago, and I didn't turn the heat on. Sorry, our upstairs is very heated because we don't have the AC on up there constantly because we
okay.
don't go up there all the time. So it was like almost like a hot spin sesh.
Okay. Hot spin.
Felt like I was suffocating
yeah.
and haven't been back since to my Peloton studio.
Right. Yeah, you got one in though. So that covers some bases, right?
Yeah, I did my one for the
Did your
month.
summer workout
Maybe I'll
in?
go work out tonight.
Wow.
I'm really
okay.
debating whether or not I'm going to go home and work out or if I should go be on call.
Tonight.
I don't think I'm going to be on call though.
Yeah, I get that. See, the thing with I'm a big walker. I love taking walks. I have a perfect loop where my apartment complex is. Quiet. It's in nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too hot. And even in the morning, getting up, even if I'm going back to shower, it's like it gets up into the mid 80s already, and it's humid in the morning, and I don't like that. And I don't want to just walk on a treadmill, and I don't know. So I'm kind of in my just sort of eat better journey, and then hockey and walking will come back come September. That's where I'm at.
Cool. I lost my hair tie, so
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to find it. Well, it's great to be back.
Yeah, what have you been up to? Things just
It was
we
my
had
birthday.
Chicago, we had your birthday. Happy birthday, by the
Thanks.
way. You guys were in the beautiful Appalachian Mountains, right? Smokies.
I think technically the Blue Ridge is what
Blue
they call
Ridge.
them.
There you go. Okay.
I don't know if that's all like the same,
I think
like
you can kind of. It's like
the Appalachians, like the backbone.
Well, that's kind of like the whole. If
Yeah.
like every Blue Ridge mountain is an Appalachian mountain, but not every Appalachian mountain is a Blue Ridge mountain.
I
Little
feel like
square
we're definitely
rhombus.
mispronouncing one of us is. I think it might be me. I feel like Texans call it Appalachian.
It can be both. It's Oregon,
Randy.
Oregon, Appalachian.
I think I always said Appalachian.
Okay. Good to feel right. Did you know that that's the oldest mountain range in the world?
I did. I'm a big geology guy. I love it.
Do you know what the youngest one is?
Is it the Himalaya?
That is correct.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm big into orogenies. That's mountain building
Because the
events.
Himalayas are still technically, they're
they're
growing.
going up. Appalachians are going down. They're getting eroded away.
But like carbon
unfortunately.
dating, you can find.
There's I believe it's the Grenville orogeny. That's one of my favorites, obviously.
Sure.
Couple 100 million years old, if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. The
People
Adirondacks
think that
are
we
going
don't have culture and history in the United States.
The
We're too
Adirondack
young of a-
Mountains. People think they're Appalachian Mountains. They're not. They're its own thing. It's a hot spot with lava, magma coming up from the ground, pushing them up. They're still growing.
The Adirondacks are?
Mhm. But the Catskills, however, are a remnant of the Appalachians.
I'm looking at a map right now.
Yeah.
Because I need to
It's interesting. It's interesting stuff. Shouts to the Green Mountains in Vermont, the White Mountains in New Hampshire, Catskills, but not the Adirondacks. You would think based on where they're at, but they're not.
Yeah, the Blue Ridge Mountains are separate from the Appalachians, by the way.
But they're all part of the Appalachians.
This map's showing it differently.
Promise you.
Well, there's a valley in between them.
Yeah, there's a lot of valleys in the Appalachians.
But like
'cause
there's
they're
a
so old.
big valley. So is that two mountain ranges?
Well, it's all part of the same Blue Ridge Mountains, Appalachians. Yeah.
Fine.
Mount Mitchell, though, highest point in North Carolina. Did you know that?
We weren't close to that.
Okay.
We were
Beautiful
over
mountains,
by Highlands. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was
Look
nice.
gorgeous.
I couldn't see out of my eye my whole birthday.
I know that's like your last when we went to Breckenridge. You had a cornea issue as well.
Okay, so
That's like 4
have you already
years
talked
ago
about this
now.
on the pod? Like, has Will already talked about this? Because Dylan asked me, and I didn't know if he had said this on a different podcast. But basically, in Breck, I got a corneal abrasion
Mhm.
and woke up with it. And then, for those of you who do you know what a corneal abrasion is?
I
Can
as a
assume you
scratched
would-
eye would be my guess.
Right,
Yeah.
scratch cornea, and it feels like you have something in your eye.
Mhm.
So then you rub your eye a shit ton,
and make it
and
worse.
then you probably make it worse
Mhm.
because you're now like irritating what's already irritated.
Okay.
And in Breck, I heard it, and I must have done it the night before we left because when we left, I like couldn't see, and my eye was watering so bad, so we had to stop. Were you in the car with us?
I sure was.
Okay,
yeah.
We had to stop at an eye doctor so she could give me an eye exam and eye drops
Mhm. On the way to the airport.
on the way to the airport.
Yeah.
Which worked out fine.
Sure, it did.
Anyway, so Will has since that happened called me very dramatic regarding my eyes, but I really did have a scratch cornea because then I think like 2 days later, Will went and bought his Audi, and I was like in the showroom with him and the guy was asking me questions. I was like, I can't even talk to you right now. Like my eyes.
I'm
fire.
dealing with an eye situation.
Right. So we get on the plane
Mhm.
I'm going to make this story short because I know we have a lot of questions. We get on the plane. We connected. We flew into Greenville, South Carolina.
Sure.
We connected in Houston. So we're at Hobby. Hurricane Barrel is heading towards us. We're
Barreling down towards you.
barreling down, and we're trying to get out of Houston. And we board the plane, and I took Charlie back to change his diaper, and I came back, and Will goes, Sally, the people that are a row in front of us and across the aisle are backers.
Mm.
And I said, okay. And he, cool. And he was
Mhm.
like, please do not Karen anybody right
Mm.
now
Okay.
because that'll be really embarrassing for me. And I was like, I wasn't planning on it, but thank you for.
Like, yeah, I'm not looking for a Karen opportunity, but just so you
and
know,
to be
yeah.
clear, I don't think that he thought that I was going to be a Karen at any point because
Mhm.
I'm a very nice, polite traveler. But it is always I think he was more implying like, please don't yell at our children in front of these people.
Okay, I see.
Okay. So I'm like, whatever. We sit down, then we get delayed on the tarmac because the storm hits and we like lose our takeoff window.
Mhm.
Anyway, we sat on the tarmac for about 45 minutes,
Mhm.
which is shitty, but
Sure,
it is
yeah.
what it is. And I'm trying to entertain my children, and Charlie was holding a sheet of stickers, so thicker paper, and it like literally knocked me directly in the eye while my eye was like wide open.
Oy,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh my God, that hurt so bad. And for the next 45 minutes, I like am in so much pain. And it's like not painful, it's just more like burning and annoyance
An
and
eye
like knowing,
situation,
like I'm
yeah.
like, is there something in my eye or did he hit it? Like, did I knock an eyelash into it? So I'm like kind of freaking out. And Will's like, you're being so dramatic, Sally. This is so embarrassing. And I'm like, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it. He's like, I don't this is like Breck all over again. I was like, well, I actually had a scratch cornea, Breck. So we get there and it like does feel better. And then that night when I slept, it felt like shit. And the whole next day, like I couldn't open my eyes or wear makeup. So I just was like walking around the resort. People probably thought I had pink eye.
Yeah. Did you do eye patch?
I did not go eye patch.
Okay.
And my dad literally, I had to pay someone at the resort to go get me eye drops
Okay.
because we didn't have a car.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have like a resort car. So one of the employees went and got them for me, which was really nice. But my dad was like, you could always patch it because then at least you're not blinking. Because the problem is like when you blink, you make it worse. So
Interesting. Okay.
the eye drops helped and we got rid of it. So
Good. So we're good. We're 100% now.
but now I know that my pharmacy go bag that I take
Needs
on
to
every
have
trip
some eye
needs some
drops.
eye drops in it.
Yeah.
Moral of the
I heard
story.
Will got Karen'd on the flight though by an attendant.
Oh, a flight attendant. Yeah. She yelled at him or
Got it.
he yelled at him. And then our other flight attendant was like, oh yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. Don't
snacks.
be grabbing snacks.
He like fully got pissed at him. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, you're going to give the kid the snacks in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the girl was like, do y'all want more? And she brought us like
nice.
5 bags of garden sun
See,
chips.
that's customer service right there.
Yeah. Dylan's favorite, I think. Isn't he a sun chip boy?
He is. He
Yeah.
is. He is. I'm gonna take it or leave it with sun chips. I like them. If they're at the party, I'll have some. I'm not going to order a 36 pack of sun chips.
The reason that I have a problem with Delta serving them is because the ones that they give you are so dusty. And then you just have like a really dusty snack.
We need to go over. I mean, really, airline snacks in general have just they're in the dark ages.
Delta has pretty good airline snacks normally.
Normally, yeah, but the obviously the portions are small. Everybody knows that. The Biscoff cookies are the highlight, no doubt.
Yeah, obviously.
But the snacks, we gotta do better, just as a society. Southwest does a good job. I love their snack mix. I just want like
speaking of the
nine
snack
bags
mix,
of it. Yeah.
it's my nephew's literal favorite snack. And Lily has tried to replace it with like Chex Mix or something else, and he knows.
Ooh, that's not the same.
And he gets pissed. So my mom, who travels a ton on Southwest, has been collecting it and
Oh my God.
brought like an entire shopping bag worth of the snack mix because Lily tried to buy it on eBay and it was like $400 because Bane's so obsessed with it.
Yeah, I get it, Bane. I get it. Does that I look for it, and I always try to grab 2. I'm like, can we do it? Can we do 2?
Well, if you need to get a lot, lie and say that they're your kid's favorite snack, and then they'll give you like 40 of them, like they did to my mom.
That's a good call. That's a great call.
Be like, my son loves these. I need to bring these home to him, and then you have a bunch of snacks.
There you go. My only airline hack when it comes to food and beverage service is I always ask for the can. Like if I get a ginger ale, Diet Coke.
Yeah, get the whole can.
I don't. I appreciate it. My least favorite thing is when they give you the can and then they pour it and then they give you both things.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't, thank you, but I don't need the cup. The cup's gonna be more messy than the can. I just want the can. And usually they're more than
I like a can and a cup of ice.
Oh yeah. See, just let me rip out of the can. I'm good. I don't need the cup of ice. It's just gonna go back to you. I thank you, but no thanks.
Should we start this podcast?
Let's do it.
15 minutes in.
Worthy Mail-In, please leave a voicemail. We have another voicemail today. 888-362-MAIL. That is 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link to the Twitter bio at Mail-In Podcast, or also in the description of this episode. I'm doing the YouTube thing down there. Randy's gonna have to put the link in. More work for Randy. Ready for number 1.
Yes.
Let's dive in. What's up, Brett and Sally? How do I tell my friends that my husband and I do not want to travel with them? Here's the context. Our friends are getting married in Europe this fall, so us and our other friends, 2 to 3 people who are attending, are planning on extending the trip into a vacation. something I think is kind of a popular
Yeah.
thing. My friends, really one friend in particular, have mentioned wanting to turn this into a group vacation to me a couple times. And while I'm excited about seeing them and hanging out during the weekend of the wedding, my husband and I would rather just travel the two of us. Like we love my friends, but just would be a different type of trip. What is the nicest but most direct way I can say that we'd rather travel just us two outside the wedding? I don't want to cause waves before the wedding, and me and one of the friends I'm talking about are in the wedding.
This seems really easy.
Okay.
You just, we booked our own hotel. We're going to do our own thing.
Right. You say, oh, we're kind of already booked on like a 2-person, not a honeymoon, but like a 2-person
We're just doing a little couples trip.
Yeah.
We'll catch you at the wedding before. This should be no conflict because you just are like, we're doing our own thing. It becomes a conflict if you're like, oh, it's just us and one other couple. You're not invited.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But if it's just you and your husband, we did our own thing with our travel agent. Thanks.
And it's already booked. I'm sorry. Like if you guys, maybe we'll do a dinner if we catch you in Corsicana or wherever. But hey, we got our own situation worked out already.
Right. We already did it. We already booked it. Thanks. And then if she presses harder, like, oh, where are you staying? Like, we're gonna stay there too. Like, I actually just like want a heads up. We're gonna hang out by ourselves. So even if you come to the hotel, we're gonna be by ourselves.
Yeah. Maybe we'll catch a daiquiri at the pool, but this is a me and
very clear.
My husband's situation.
Yeah.
Easy. Should
if
not
a friend
be a
gets
conflict.
offended by that.
And you're also already doing what I would presume is a couple days with these people anyway. So you're gonna get the hangout, catch up time. You're in the wedding. You're gonna get plenty of what I would assume is bridesmaid, like brunch, morning kind of stuff. You'll get the hangout time. My guess is this friend is trying to like maybe offset some costs of doing.
Yeah.
And get it. Totally understand. But hey, we already booked our own thing.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And you're not the asshole for doing that.
No.
At all. Not at all.
We're just gonna hang by ourselves. Thanks. That's it.
And you don't have to say, I don't want to travel with you. Just, hey, we're going to do our own thing.
Yeah.
Easy. Want to do a voicemail, Sal?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Sam, proprietor of the Dick Saloon, home of the hot dog. You spit on it, you get a little extra. We're doing karaoke this weekend, and I need to know a song to sing. I usually do Billy Squire Stroke Me, but looking for something new.
It's nice of Sam, the proprietor of the Dick Saloon, to call in. Mentioned they are doing karaoke this weekend. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Goodbye, Earl by the Dixie Chicks. Sorry, the Chicks.
Oh, yeah, careful.
Goodbye, Earl.
Interesting.
Absolute crushes. The last time I performed it was at Egos.
I might have been there. Was it the Micah night?
It was maybe.
I know he goes there plenty, but
we were there with Micah when I did it. It was around Christmas. Goodbye, Earl, for several reasons. Number one, it's very, you don't have to have like vocal chops. You can basically like sing, talk in a really twangy accent.
And kind of get the point across.
And sound like Natalie Maines. Because there's not a lot of like high notes being hit or like, you're not holding anything. You're just like telling a story.
It's the range is doable is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay. And it absolutely lends itself to like getting really kind of rowdy. Like when you talk, like just Goodbye, Earl. It absolutely slaps. And I just want to say, when I did it, we went up there with like a group of us and no one else got into it besides me. I'm pretty sure I was with Alyssa and Laura, and I just took over the stage and absolutely owned it. Like, no offense to them. They were great backups, but
yeah, it's a song you gotta kind of take the reins on.
The other thing about karaoke is any song, it needs to be a song you know.
Oh,
1,000%.
I think it arguably needs to be a song that the crowd knows.
Correct. You can't you want to do something. It's fun to do something. Goodbye Earl is a great example. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. If you know song. It's like enough people remember that from their childhood, at least in Texas.
Sure. Like here's a great place to do that.
Right.
I don't know if you want to go to Chicago and do Goodbye Earl.
Right. But in Texas, hits hard. Like every girl remembers that song from 5th grade.
Sure. No doubt.
Who's my age. And it's like funny and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, okay, so I said that we were there at Christmas. That was a lie.
We
But I
did
remember
that at Christmas.
thinking that it was Christmas because somebody performed All I Want for Christmas Is You. And it was like August. And it was also really fun because everyone knows that song.
Okay. That's fair.
I think that is a hilarious thing to do when it's not the holidays.
Kind of a bit, if you will.
A bit. Like towards the end of the night. Don't be,
Sure.
you got to be a couple of everyone needs to be a couple of drinks deep to like appreciate that. You can't have your lead off at 7 p.m. be All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Totally agree.
At 12:30, you can do All I Want for Christmas Is You.
No doubt. No doubt. With karaoke, for me, my go-to is Sugar We're Going Down.
That's a great one. That's a great
I
one.
can't hit the notes. But anytime you do it, the audience is going to get into it enough that
Right.
if you can't hit some note, if you can't get up that high,
Yeah.
it's going to kind of be drowned out. Like you can sort of pull the mic away, hit it from the over here, and then the audience is gonna back you up a little bit.
Randy and Brett, do you remember at Barrett and Lauren's wedding when you and I were singing this and I kept getting on my knees to play the air guitar and like severely bruise my knees?
I don't.
There's a video of you, like basically me like grabbing your suit and like screaming it in your face.
That would make
I think
sense.
we were like singing to each other
Wait,
and like
was this
no
at
one
Barrett-
else was out there.
At Barrett's wedding, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, this is my go-to really in any situation, especially at a wedding when this comes on.
Yeah.
I'm out there basically doing karaoke on the dance floor, which is what
Yeah.
happened with you and I in
Yeah.
this situation. But for karaoke, I'm doing songs and I'm not like the worst. The worst is when somebody, and not
Don't
the worst.
do the 25-minute Queen song. No one cares. Don't do it.
That, and they treat karaoke night like a talent show.
Yeah,
where
we
like
don't care.
somebody else, they keep singing songs that nobody knows and they've just worked on forever, and they go every like third person. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
here comes that girl again to
Mhm, mhm.
sing a slow song by herself like this.
Yeah.
If you're doing karaoke night, Sam, proprietor of the Dick Saloon, it's got to be a party atmosphere.
What's your number, like your second song? Because I have one.
I'm gonna do like Jimmy Eat World, the middle,
Okay, that's a
Like
good
a-
one too.
because I can't sing, right? So if I'm gonna do something, it's gonna be like I got friends in low places, something that I can introduce and like an accent to. So I can do like a pop punk accent or like a southern accent, like so I can sing in a character, which will
Right.
get me out of my comfort zone a little bit, or will allow me to sort of play a character that I'm more comfortable making a fool of myself in than like trying to sing a song well. You know what I mean? So if I'm doing like a pop punk accent, or I guess I just combined Southern and pop punk, that was weird. But I'll do something like that to sort of get myself more comfortable with screaming into a mic
Yeah.
and get the crowd involved, obviously. What's your
I
backup?
would say my 1A is Goodbye Earl. My 1B is I Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston.
That's a good one. That's a good one. See, everybody's going to sing it. You can kind of just bop around on stage and
Most people are going to know
and
it.
most people are going to know it. You don't have to hit every note, but you can hit the important ones. I like it.
Yeah.
it. But I'll do Friends in Low Places gets people.
Randy,
people going.
what's your go-to?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mambo number 5.
Okay.
What about the Thong Song by Cisco?
Wow. Or Pony
I-
by
I-
Genuine.
Tequila is another good one.
Which one's that?
Tequila.
Oh. Got it. So
That's not
Randy,
even the song. I mean, it is, but like you're just saying tequila.
Yeah,
Ever seen a
tequila.
guy do
Yeah.
that? It's really
so
funny.
Randy's just he's up there performing.
There was some there's a new karaoke part of Copperhead or Jackalope over there on the east side.
Mhm.
Went there. Guys kept on doing Creed. It crushed every single time. Creed
That's a
is
great
huge
one.
right now.
That's a great one.
Oh,
When
yeah,
you can sort
I
of
get-
add
yeah.
some zhuzh to it by over singing. Like if I don't go up there and try to sing a song that you can't sing.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a song, make sure you can put some. You can basically get out of your own body and get into a character for a second.
What are your hard no's? Give me one hard no.
Ooh, hard no. Like trying to
My
do like
heart no for across the board is Queen. Do not sing Queen.
because you
I
can't
love
do it.
Queen,
One,
but you're not Freddie Mercury.
Mama.
Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna do it.
No, you can't.
You can't hit it, and all of their ballads are way too long. That like people are
Get
gonna
off
lose
the stage.
interest.
Yeah.
It's not at a certain point. You're just like, okay. And then I think my second choice, because it's just too overdone, is "Baby Got Back." Like we did it.
Ooh.
Okay, we've all
Yeah.
been there. But like, you be more interesting. You like think of something else.
Sure. I'm gonna stay away from any really hip hop or hip hop adjacent, like "Baby Got Back," or I'm not doing "Temperature" by Sean Paul kind of thing.
Yeah.
Somebody call 911. And I'm not doing anything slow. I'm not gonna get up there and try to ballad my way
Somebody
through.
called 911 is Big Sean.
Shorty Fire Burning on the dance floor.
Oh wait, no, you're right. But that's
Yeah.
not Sean Paul. That's
Sean Kingston.
Sean Kingston.
I got my Sean's mixed up. I apologize.
Sean Paul did do Temperature, but he's got the right temperature.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Man.
Sean Kingston is Fire Burning.
Fire
Yeah,
Burning.
Fire Burning.
Yes, yeah. Okay, but I'm not getting into that territory. I don't have that. I don't possess that sort of charisma to hit those songs. I'm doing country. I'll keep it country, sing-songy, swangy,
Will you do
or pop punk.
Where are you on like a Taylor Swift
Where
and/or
are you? I'll do that.
Yeah, actually, yeah, solid.
I'm so sorry.
That's a great one. Where are you on Taylor Swift and/or like Justin Bieber?
Fine with it. I'm not going to do it. Happy to participate.
I
nod
think
my
you can
head
do
to it.
something a little more off the beaten path that people are going to really enjoy. Those are the ones that I think are the best when they're not mainstream.
But
and you're like,
I think
that
enough
is-
people have to know.
No. It has to be, but it almost needs to be like not even a throwback, but like it needs to be not the hottest. Don't go sing Espresso. Like sing something that
I
is
see.
like
You
or
Belong
maybe
With Me.
maybe the hottest song of like 2008.
or like Mr. Brightside.
That's a great one. It's Mr. Brightside and Sugar We're Going Down
Yeah.
are going to cry. Obviously, everybody like they're sort of even played out at this point from like they've had a second life as the anthems of the millennial generation at bars,
Yeah.
but they're still going to play. Now, don't like redo it at the end of the night. This has been played 3 times and sung 3 times. Like, let's back off. But if you're going up there and doing "Little Baby" by Justin Bieber, go for it. Or what's the Ghost song that he does? I don't know. That's
Ghost?
Yeah, is it called Ghost?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Or
If I
Peaches?
can't get close to you, I'd
Yeah.
rather be the goat.
That's you gotta have a little.
I don't even know what song you're talking
And
about.
if I can't get
Yeah.
close to you, I'd settle for the ghost.
But
of
that's not really a
you.
karaoke song.
I
I guess.
miss you more than
Yeah, like you
I
can
know.
because you can try to sing that and everybody's gonna be like, okay, man, that's flat. It's not good. You can't like
I
party
don't know
to it.
how did I sound?
That was good. You were good. You have
Did
you have
I
range.
hit the same way as Ingrid What's Her Face on the national anthem?
Did you see she went to rehab?
Yeah.
I was wondering, is National Anthem up there? Could you do that like middle
That
of
would-
the late of the night? That'd
Okay,
be fun.
like that actually would be hilarious, but like there's not background music to the national anthem, right? Or is there?
No, well,
there's
you can-
instrumental.
yeah, you can do.
But like,
an
do you think that a
instrumental.
karaoke place has the? Okay,
They
low
might.
The Dick
key,
Saloon
You
does.
know what would be hilarious if you sang like "America the Beautiful" or something during the Olympics.
It would be hilarious. I've been at bars before where they football game will be happening. Like this, I was at a bar before a hockey game that we were playing before an NFL playoff game, and there were a bunch of NFL fans in there,
Yeah,
and they all stood and like saluted or took hats off for the national anthem in the bar, and I was like, I think I'm going to stand up for this. I don't want to be the guy that's sitting down in the
Yeah.
bar for the national anthem.
yeah, no.
So I didn't know what to do. I felt very
If the national
uncomfortable.
anthem's playing loudly enough, I feel like and I'm in public, I feel like I need to. and-
If there are
I'm not
enough,
stopping.
if there's a critical mass doing it,
right.
I'll follow the lead. I'm not going to be the one guy who stands up and is like, "Hey, stand up for the national anthem."
Right,
Like I get it, but there has to be some sort of critical
You mean like when
mass
you're
there.
watching on TV?
Yes, correct.
Right.
If I'm there, obviously.
You're obviously standing and taking your hat off.
Correct. If I'm at Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm looking around. I'm not going to be the first one to stand up for the national anthem.
yeah.
Because like 2 minutes ago, you guys were playing, Third Eye Blind across, and then you happened to turn on the Seahawks audio, and we caught the national anthem. Like I respect our troops, I respect our country. I'm not going to be the first one to stand up at a bar for the national anthem. Sue me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't cut that, Randy. Don't clip that.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, is it my turn?
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, Brett and Sally, quick background. 31-year-old single guy looking for a steady relationship, but also not forcing or rushing it. I've talked to 2 girls that I really, really like, and they didn't feel the same. And I've also talked to girls that really, really like me, but I didn't feel the same way about them. Definitely not uncommon, I know, and I'm not currently in either of those situations, but just curious if you guys think both people have to match the initial feeling or if continuing to have fun, if you're 80% in, can work out.
It's interesting here.
I think for it to work out, and I mean like get in a long-term relationship or like dating to the point of like 6 months or more, you both have to be on the same page. Now, this is the caveat. I think it's very common for the beginning stage of a relationship for icks to happen.
Okay.
But it
to
just
take
depends.
you down from like 100% into like 85.
There is always a stage of the relationship, in my opinion. Maybe not everybody goes through this, but I think it's pretty common. Even when you're like, I am so into him, but then you move out of the like flirtation, talking. I hate that term.
The
but
honeymoon phase, right?
Well, not even the honeymoon phase.
Or just the initial contact.
You move out of the like initial contact dating phase to
Okay.
like, or like going on dates phase to dating.
Sure.
Like maybe they meet your friends, they're spending the night at your place, whatever.
Okay.
Where you are still in the honeymoon phase, but you also know them enough to know the shit that they do that's annoying. And that is the phase where I think you are prime for icks to arise.
Okay.
And again, I think there's part of it is you have to be on the same page, but then the other part of it is you have to like them enough when icks happen that you just get past them.
You can overlook them or let them subside.
Because
maybe.
or they have to be minor enough icks that you don't care. So you either the attraction happens, you match on Hinge, whatever it is. And you both are in the same place, same time, same vibe situation. So one date turns into weekly talking, spending the night. Now you've moved into dating, right?
Sure.
And before you go from like dating to long-term relationship, as in like we're going home for the holidays, taking international trips together, meeting my parents, whatever.
Yeah.
You have that phase of like, we're in the honeymoon. I'm obsessed with you. I'll spend every night with you. But I just realized you do this like weird thing when you're like XYZ.
You don't put your bowls away, or
Right.
like you leave your towels on the floor, or just something
or just like the way that like
you chew.
Yeah, it's like little things. And so some of them are like you cannot get over them. And because maybe like you saw their feet for the first time.
You're
and
a mouth
you're like,
breather.
oh, sick.
Yeah.
Or it's stuff that's like mildly annoying, and then you're like, I'll just get over that.
Sure, totally. I think in this situation, because I understand where he's coming from. You either have to like I'm trying to like come up with this 3-date like rule almost. Like, okay, if you've reached a certain threshold of I'm attracted to you, hello girl across the bar, I think you are cute, I'm gonna go say what's up. Then you are like, oh, get number, whatever. 3 dates of if you hit a threshold of like I'm 80% into you, and I'm like, not totally sure, but it's not like, oh, you're the love of my life. Go on 3 dates, see if that turns into 100 because you're like, oh, well, the combination of your personality and what we have in common and physical attraction and goals, ambitions, etc., turned into that. I think you kind of know in like 3 dates of, okay, this can go to the next stage of sleeping over, go to the next stage of getting physical, go to the next stage of getting more emotional or more deep on stuff. But that's also a small enough amount of time, say it's 3 dates over the course of 2 weeks or 3, whatever it might be. It's also a short enough time that you're not necessarily wasting somebody else's time.
Yeah.
Like I get at the first date, if it's total 100-0,
totally off. Yeah.
You can call it off. Be like, hey, had fun. I don't see it. But if you're kind of in that that I really like you. They're not sure about you. See if you can hang on for like 3 dates,
Mhm.
and then it'll be pretty clear, right? Same thing goes for, oh, I'm into her, but I'm 80% into her. Give it 3 dates or give it 3 experiences, and then kind of I think you evaluate from there. Not to break it down into like a
my
science,
question is, because I really do feel like this is, when you think about it, like a pretty tenuous experience until you're like full blown
dating.
dating in a
Sure.
relationship, spending holidays and stuff together
Mhm.
because of the things I just laid out. But also there's that weird in between period where like maybe 3 dates isn't enough, or it is enough and but maybe you're just settling. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you're like, meh, we did 3 dates. He's fun enough. I'm not super attracted to him, but I do like attention and I don't want to be alone during the fall. So I'm going to date him.
Cuffing season, they call it.
Correct.
Huh.
See, because then I think,
Mhm.
yes, you might date for a few months, but like you're still in that weird limbo period. I think I think one party always knows. Like I think when you're the
Absolutely,
party
yeah.
that is not hot on the person and you're like, well, I'm
Mhm.
kind of bored and I'll just like keep you on the hook because
On the roster?
I'm bored and also kind of a shitty person.
Sure, yeah.
But then as the other person, right? Like, even if you're hanging on to it,
You can feel
the other person's like
absolutely.
not fully invested in you because they're just like,
You're getting breadcrumbed.
right,
And
you're
then
getting
you
breadcrumbed.
can feel I would assume, Randy, you can feel the breadcrumbing, right?
But
You can feel the fizzle
here's
at the
the
very
thing.
least.
Obviously every relationship's different, but it's not, it feels as we're talking about it, like this is like almost an insurmountable thing. You're like, I can't believe people get married because like, how do they
Yeah. It's
like
just
fall
kind
in
of
love and stay in love? But I really do feel like, to answer this guy's question, yes, you can have a relationship where you're 80% into it, but it will end, in my
Sure.
opinion. I mean, unless you're just fully don't care and like are just so desperate you want to be married to somebody, etc.
Mhm.
But I think most people, attraction, like, comes and goes of every part of relationships. But I do think physical, emotional attraction has to be present for both people at nearly the same level at all times for the relationship to succeed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. And it can wax and wane between
Exactly.
100 and 94 and 105, like that's natural. But if it starts at 178, it doesn't feel like it's gonna last. And it could last a fall, it could last a holiday season.
Right.
But when you're at an imbalance there, I feel like little things become big things, icks become untenable
Right.
for whatever the lower number party is.
Right.
And then from there, it's almost like this, exponential, like the 100 is like, oh my God, I feel it slipping away. And now I'm gonna try harder. And then maybe that becomes even more of an ick. And then the 78 goes to a 60. And then all of a sudden, boom, snap.
I think if you ask most people who are in like long-term relationships, married, long-term dating, engaged, etc., and you ask like, how did y'all date? Most people are going to be like, it just clicked. It just worked. Not everyone.
Right. My one counter would be like, what if you were friends, coworkers, and you started at like 60 and 60 because maybe you had other things, or maybe, and then all of a sudden you're like 75, 75, and then you're 85.
But you're going at the same pace. You know
Fair.
what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
Versus like he's saying like he's on one end of the spectrum or the other. Like he's either the party that's really, really likes somebody,
Sure. Okay.
or he's like the person that's being really, really liked.
Yes.
I think
you'll know that initially, even if you are friends. Like
you just have to be near each other in attraction. You don't have to be. You just can't be fully like one person 60% and the other person's 100%.
Okay. I think the final answer to this for me is you don't have to match, but you got to be close.
Yeah.
And upon whatever initial like beyond friends stage would be, you got to be close for it to work long term. It can work short term. It can work for a night. It can work hot and heavy. But long term, it's gotta be pretty close initially.
And I don't want to make this sound super insurmountable, like you're never going to be in a relationship, because clearly a ton of people are. I almost think of it in the same way that, like, legitimately, if you think about it, getting pregnant should be like insanely hard.
Mm.
And like, look at how many people live on this planet.
8 billion.
But like,
now.
the odds are stacked against you.
Right. It's
Like,
it is
you have
crazy.
to be having sex at the exact right time.
Mhm,
The sperm has to meet the egg at the exact right time.
mhm.
The conditions have to be ideal. It's like the same thing when you're trying to find a life partner. It's like you got to both be mentally and physically, usually in the same location, or willing to travel to each other. You have to both be at the same
Available.
maturity level,
Yep.
emotionally available, all of these things. And then you have to overcome obstacles like annoying friends, or like their
Grass is greener
job,
stuff.
or X, or whatever it
Yeah.
is. So it feels like, but then we have all these people who are married and in long-term relationships.
Do you think it's easier to, or excuse me, let me rephrase. Do you think this has changed in the last 25 years? Where initial attraction has to be closer than it used to be because of social media, because of the ease of either meeting new people or finding new available people versus what it used to be? Do you think it, and I'm not saying people used to settle more, but do you think
I think there's a
initial-
component of it that we're more aware of, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that has probably always existed, that if you're getting in a relationship for love,
Mhm.
marrying for love, you're not like in an arranged marriage. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
You are still, the spark
Mm-hmm.
has to exist, you know,
Yeah,
both people.
absolutely.
But I do think that we millennials kind of started this. I think Gen Z is following in our footsteps, that we're a lot more selfish, willing to take time to,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah, we it's not like we've rejected the have a house and a white picket fence
Right.
and 2 kids and a dog by 30.
but we're less, that's less important to us now.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I think there are more options
right.
out there.
Because arguably you could say that people who were married back then
Mhm.
or getting into relationships were, if they were marrying for security and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
The-
people used to get married and have kids for employees. Like we need farm workers. So
Right.
we're gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but you also have to look at that, like, maybe you grew to love and respect each other, but also you weren't in, it's just a different type of relationship.
Yeah.
The
Totally.
end is still the same.
Mhm.
Marriage,
Yeah.
children, whatever. I mean, not for everybody, but
Sure.
like
Yeah.
by societal standards.
Mhm.
But you know, those people weren't meeting for the spark. But I think it's a lot more important to us now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think traction is has become more of a number one priority than the other stuff that come with a life partner. Not that it's never not been a priority, but I think it's just even more so.
Yeah.
Capiche, Randy?
Capiche.
Hey guys, quick one for you. How do you kindly tell a friend that they can do things without their partner? Every time I ask to hang out, they say, let me talk to blank and see when we are free. Even though I don't care about seeing both of them. I like the partner, but this is getting old. Thanks, I'll hang up and listen. Now, this obviously changes when you have like children and
Right.
schedules and are married. But I'm thinking like 24, this guy's been dating this girl for 4 years. They don't live together. Oh, let me check with Cassie to make sure I don't have anything going on that
But
day.
it's not even like, let me check with Cassie. It's like, let me check with Cassie her availability so she can come too.
Yes.
Because
yes.
when I first read this question, I was like, I get it. Literally, Will
Yeah.
and I have to like run stuff by each other, mostly out of respect for the other person. Like, hey, before I say yes to this, like, are you
Mhm.
available to watch our kids, or can we get a babysitter?
Totally.
Like,
if
I don't
Will
want to be
wants to
asshole.
golf, it's like, hey, do you have 4 hours to
Right.
hang out with Charlie and
And
Fritz?
it's
Yeah,
not,
that makes sense.
it's not that we're like, you can't golf, like you can't go hang out with
Yeah.
your friends. It's like, hey, just want to make sure we're covered childcare wise.
Yeah.
No, this is like somebody asking Will to go golf and like, cool, can Sally ride along?
Yeah.
And it's like, no. So here's my I have 3 tips here.
Mhm.
Either one, you just stop hanging out with this friend.
Okay. Yeah, totally
because clearly they have
different life
boyfriend
stages,
sickness. Okay.
sickness, right?
Boyfriend girlfriend sickness, where they only, I think that term was coined by Tinks, but all they care about is like their significant other. This is like typical, exact. You hit it the nail on the head, like 24-year-old behavior.
Yeah.
You're like, my significant other is the only important thing in my life, and everyone else don't care.
Totally.
And then those people like emerge, and they're like, oh, I should have maintained friendships with people.
yes.
And it happens to everyone in the beginning of a relationship
Totally.
because you just get so involved in your own relationship, romantic relationship, you like everything falls by the wayside.
Yeah.
So you either stop hanging out with them, you choose activities that their partner won't like. So like,
Well, if they have it really bad, they're gonna be like, "Oh no, she doesn't like that, so we're not coming."
Yeah,
right.
go.
But I'm
He's
saying
good.
like, if it's a guy, like you're talking golfing,
Sure.
something hey, I'm going to make a tea time for both of us. Something that like she can't really do. Like, hey, I got us 2 tickets to this baseball game. Hey, do you want to go to this, like, if you're a girl, do you want to go to this like wine tasting with me? Not that there can girls and guys can. Do you want to do this exercise class with me?
Sure.
Whatever it is. Or just, do you want to? So you have to think of really specific activities that maybe are just for you and your friend and not their partner.
Especially because I want to caveat this because Rachel will come along and drive the cart and drink and she's friends with my friends or actually was friends with them before me. So the golfing one, I want to put a caveat on there. It can work.
I ride with Will.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
if it's like one of your boys, like one of your college buddies.
Well,
and there's just different.
To be fair, I also think I've ridden with Will, but I also like know when he just doesn't want me there.
Yeah. There's different
Part
there's
of
different
that,
golf days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is your friend's problem who needs to like set a boundary with their partner. That's not your issue.
Right.
They need to figure that out themselves. But the final thing is, and I had somebody talk to me about this when Will and I first started dating, and it was difficult because Will was like my first really serious boyfriend. All of my friends at the time when we started dating had already been dating their partners for years and years and years. So they, like, some of them had been together for like 8 years at that point, and are moved past the boyfriend girlfriend sickness part of it to where they're like back to hanging out with individuals. And Will and I were really new, and we were long distance too. So like literally anytime he came in town, I was like, I'm seeing him.
Sure.
We only got to see each other like twice a month. And I had a friend take me to lunch and be like, listen, love you, love Will, but like, I want to see you. And it was difficult because I was a nurse. I was an ICU nurse, and I would work every other weekend. So really, like my free weekends, I was either Will was in Houston with me, or I was in Austin. And so she's like, I'm literally getting to see you like once a month on the weekend, and Will's here. And I like really upset me at the time. Looking back on it now, I think I totally understand her point of view. I also kind of wish she would have given me a little grace.
Yeah,
of
your
like,
time was you had
like
circumstances.
I wasn't like this with you when you first started dating your boyfriend in college, like whatever. But I think it's important to like remember the other person's paradigm and like their situation. So depending on what your friend is like if they've been together 4 years and you're like, okay, like we get it, like stop bringing Julie around. But if they're like 3 months in and like they're just like inseparable, like give them the honeymoon period.
Sure.
People will get over
They'll
it.
come out of it. Yeah.
They'll come out of it.
Yeah.
Like they will. And I think that's important to remember, because I think especially in your 20s when everyone's at different phases, you've got people who are like about to get married. You have people who are very, very single. Then you have people who are entering into like long-term relationships, maybe long distance dating, etc. You're in this very big melting pot of people in relationships. And it's important to try to put yourself in their shoes. Because I think you have to be like, what? And it's, you always are the person who's like, I will never act like that when I'm in a relationship. And then you do.
Yeah.
So, but I think if it continues to be a problem, you can just be like, hey man, like love Julie, but like, can you and I, like, would love to just see you and I.
Yeah.
And say it in a nice way. And then if he's like, is something wrong? Like, why can't she come be like, I just would rather like I just like want some guy time.
Sure. That's a perfect way to put it. Just be like, oh, need some guy time. Need some road time.
Especially too, if you're the single friend, sometimes you have to remind your friends in relationships of that. Because same side of the coin, like I was with Will, and we had a friend who was like the single one of the group, and she's like, y'all, I love your husband's boyfriend's fiancés, but like sometimes I just need to be with just girls, and like happy to third wheel whenever, but like also would love to just hang out with you.
Mhm.
And you just have to have like the confidence to say it. So
Yeah.
if you need to say that to your friend as a single person, be like, hey, love hanging out with y'all as third wheel, but like we just need some bro time.
Perfect. Boom.
Done.
Next one. You want to hit it?
Yes. Okay. Hi, Brett and Sally. I love the pod. Want to quickly say thanks for all you do. My husband
Thank you
and
very
I
much.
very recently found out that I'm expecting. We're excited, but didn't think it would happen so fast. I have a handful of trips coming up that include a work trip to Japan, where coworkers will be drinking and eating sushi, my sister's bachelorette party in Vegas, my childhood best friend's wedding in Tulum, and a little girl's weekend in Fredericksburg, aka Texas's wine country. I'm not a heavy drinker, so staying sober for 9 months is no biggie, but how the hell am I supposed to survive these next few months when literally all these destinations are centered around drinking? Also, any tips on surviving pregnant girl summer are also appreciated. Please send help. Context: I'm the maid of honor in both my sister and friends' weddings, and all of these trips are in the next 4 months. Getting out of the work travel is impossible. Okay.
Just saved a bunch of money on those trips is what I'm hearing.
God, when you don't drink, it is shocking
Yeah.
how much meals cost
Mhm.
less. When I was pregnant and we would like run to dinner with Fritz,
Mhm.
we'd be like, did we just eat all of us for like $35? That's insane.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
It's so much cheaper. Okay. There's a couple things. Number one, I don't know how, it sounds like she just found out. So I don't know when she's planning on telling people, but I
Okay.
think it is important to
That
tell.
when you're on trip, those people know, as long as it's in with after.
Okay.
Or you can even say I'm trying to,
Right.
and yeah, people will lay off.
Your sister's going to know.
Yep.
She's your sister.
Childhood best friend probably will know.
Probably your childhood best friend will know. And this is the thing about pregnancy, especially when it's your first, you feel very conflicted about telling people,
Mhm.
partially because I think it's societal pressure of like, you shouldn't tell anybody till you're out of the first trimester. And also you're scared and you feel like if you tell somebody, you're going to like cause something to happen. Everyone
Okay.
to each their own, how you want to discuss pregnancy. But I think having a couple friends and your family know is like, I really tried to not tell people till we were out of the first trimester with Fritz.
Mhm.
And I realized later how lonely and isolating that was for me, because at the time, Alyssa and Lily were also pregnant
Mhm.
and we weren't telling anybody. And it created a lot of like almost resentment that I had towards like, say, Lily, because Lily and I's pregnancies were so different. And I felt like I really isolated from her because I felt like I had the secret that I couldn't tell her, even though
Right.
we were like doing it at the same time.
Okay.
So if I look back at that, I'm like, I should have just told her sooner.
Mhm.
So to each their own. But if you can tell somebody, at least one person on all of these trips
Mhm.
that can like kind of have your back,
Sure.
do it. That being said, your sister's going to know. I would give her, depending on when Vegas is, I would like let her know. Maybe you don't need to let her friends know, whatever. But if you are the pregnant sister on a bachelorette party and you're the maid of honor, plan it and then just give her the caveat of like, hey, because depending on where you are, which is probably in the first trimester, you're going to be feeling shitty.
Mhm.
So excited for you, going to plan all this. But like, if I don't make it to something because I have morning sickness, like, I apologize. Your sister's going to understand.
Totally.
But the other thing you can do to rope one of her best friends in so that they can kind of take the charge when you're not there.
Right.
So this is a great example of this. When I was Lily's maid of honor, I was in my final month of grad school and I was like freaking out. I had to take boards. I was studying my ass off. I was so stressed. I was like worried about even going because I didn't want to miss parts of my residency. And so literally I like handed it off to her best friend, Carly. And I was like, I'm going to help, but I need you to like kind of take the reins. I will be there. But like for the times that I either need to go home and like study or whatever it is, like I need you to like take control. And she did a great job. So even if you tell your sister and like her best friend and you don't have to tell anybody else, just have someone know. Same thing goes for the childhood best friend. You're her maid of honor. Let her know. especially because if you're pregnant, things are just different. Even if you feel great, there's stuff that you're going to be tired. You may be nauseated. Like you aren't going to be doing certain things. And I think it's important to be like, I want to be there for your day. I want to make it so special for you. Don't even worry about me not having a good time. If I need to take myself out of the situation, I will, and I'll go rest. I won't be dramatic.
You're a big
about
girl
it.
at some point. You'd be like, hey, I got you. You guys keep having fun. I'm going to go take an hour nap.
Right.
Boom.
This is a little harder if you're the first of your friends to get pregnant.
Fair.
Because they don't understand it as much. Now, when this has happened to like my girlfriends, et cetera, it's like we've all been there. So you're like, yeah, do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
The work trip thing.
It's interesting.
It depends because I think
sushi is another like got to be careful, right?
Well, it totally depends on your OB. In my opinion, if you're in Japan and eating sushi, my ass is going to eat sushi.
It's about as good as it can get. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
I would have a couple like. The thing is, the people in Japan get pregnant and they also eat sushi all the time.
Yeah.
Like you're
not just an American thing.
Exactly. Well, and I'm just like, you're in the best place for it. You know, you're not in like freaking Kansas City. Okay. Like you're
doing our Kansas City people dirt.
I'm just thinking of like the most landlocked area I can think of. Okay.
Yeah.
You are getting it fresh and like arguably probably like the best place for preparation in the world.
Sure.
It's at your comfort level. I think if you can either lie and be like, if you really don't feel comfortable eating sushi, first of all, just ask your OB. They're likely going to be like, I don't care. Don't get it from a gas station that's like been sitting out.
Just a good
rule
to
of
live
thumb.
by, pregnant or not, probably.
Every pregnant person, do what you want. Like everything has a risk and a benefit. If your OB is like, don't drink a handle of vodka. Or smoke or like do cocaine. But like you want to have a glass of wine, most OBs are going to like do what you want.
Yeah.
Like
8 billion,
the
8 billion
risk.
people have
but you
been
also
born.
Exactly. So the work trip, I think if you're not going to tell anybody, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're not drinking, just be like, you can absolutely blame jet lag. Just be like, I don't know, like ever since the plane, I just like my stomach hasn't been right. I'm just going to drink water. Like I'm really tired and alcohol like makes it worse. So I'm just going to drink water. Or if you really need to, and you know what restaurant you're going to beforehand, either get there before or call before and be like, hey, I'm going to order this, but I need you to bring it out.
Yeah. As if it was a drink or something like
Correct.
that. Yeah. Yep. I got you. And if you're close enough with a coworker, kind of has your work bestie or your work buddy,
right.
like they can, somebody can have your back too. And you also just can be like, I'm going to get Diet Coke because I'm not drinking. Like, I feel like it's even more of a
sobriety thing.
I think
is so much more acceptable now that if somebody orders like a soda and lime, people are going to be like, why aren't you drinking?
Yeah.
Especially in a work setting, because that is so uncomfortable to ask someone like, why aren't you drinking?
Mm-hmm.
It's different when it's like your own family member and they know that like you are happy to tie one on and now you're all of a sudden drinking water. But if you order a soda and lime, people are just going to assume that like maybe you're sober.
Sure.
Like most people aren't going to ask.
Totally. And if you go to sushi, that you can get the edamame or the gyoza, like there's other options. If sushi really is scaring you,
get some ramen.
Ramen, yeah.
We recently went on a girls trip in February and I had two friends who were like newly pregnant and both of them were pretty early, but they were like, listen, I'm just going to tell you up front because this is going to affect stuff. Yeah. I would appreciate it if you kept it close to the chest until I'm ready to tell other people. I think that's fine for the girls trip in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, that's easy. And it's a beautiful area anyway. Yeah. You can eat cheese and grapes and all the things that come with beautiful vineyards and have a blast.
Have a sparkling water. Surviving in the summer being late stage pregnant or early stage pregnant in the summer sucks because early stage, I've done both. Early stage pregnant, you feel like shit. You just constantly feel hungover. For like the first trimester, just imagine feeling insanely hungover, nauseated, tired, just
don't want to do stuff.
That's how you feel, or at least how I felt.
Don't fit perfectly, but they're still you're still not.
You just feel bloated and hungover, and so that's how I felt for my whole first trimester. And it was the summer, and it just sucked because you're just like, all I want to do is like have a margarita, but I feel like ass, and I don't want to do that, and I just want to like crawl into a hole and die. On the flip side, being late stage pregnant really blows because you are a whale or in my case, and it's so ungodly hot outside.
Yeah. And just everything's uncomfortable. The
Everything's
seats
uncomfortable.
are-
You don't
you're
want to
just
put
thinking,
clothes on. Like
your feet hurt. Your back
the
hurts.
best thing you can do is like just buy breezy dresses and not let anything touch your body. Or at least that's how I felt.
There you go.
Such a joy.
Randy, any tips for
Congratulations.
pregnant girl summer?
No.
Okay. Congratulations. Thank you for the kind words about our show. Good luck with all the trips coming up. You just think of it as you're saving a fuck ton of money every trip you go on.
Yeah.
And make sure you get your own tabs, especially for the wine weekend. Be like, hey guys, I'm going to be on my own dime. Or
Most people, again,
they'll be very
hopefully
obviously very,
your friends and like hopefully work's paying for it, so
Yeah,
that's not a
yeah,
deal. But
that's
like
not a
your friends, like when our friend's pregnant, I'm like, you're not even putting your shit in the check. Like we're gonna pay.
Same
for you.
thing with
we'll
like,
pay
the,
for your 4 tacos.
the
Okay,
bachelorette
like
party. If you have an Airbnb and they make the liquor store run or whatever, like you don't
Yeah.
need to be a part of that tab.
right.
That's gonna let's wrap it up here and we'll get after it next week. How's that sound?
To the last one. The last one is a good one. We'll do it next week.
We'll do it next week. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe, rate 5 stars, review, tell a friend about the show. Hit the hotline number to leave a voicemail. That's 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link to the Twitter bio or in the description of this episode. Sally, where can the folks find you?
Sally deFries on Instagram and Twitter.
I am Brett Merriman at Schmerriman on those platforms. Give us a follow. Shoot questions in the DMs. Sally is a big DM question answerer.
Yes.
If
I
you
will
need
answer
help.
your DMs.
So will Randy. If you want to shoot him questions or concerns, comments,
And if I
Don't do
don't
that.
see it and it's been a couple days, just bump it again.
bump it,
I'm sorry, I'm far away from the mic. Bump it so I see it.
bop it, bump it, spike it. See you guys next week.
Bye.